Time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling here in Tosa and Moe's Irish Pub till 5 o'clock. 68 degrees, mostly cloudy skies outside right now. Clear skies for the rest of the night, low of 53.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer here at Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come on out, hang out. Great food and drink specials going on. Plus, we have tickets to give away for you to see Adam Sandler on the You're My Best Friend tour, October 5th, I should say, at Fifer Forum. Come out here today before 5 o'clock. Scan the QR code. Have a chance to win yourself tickets to go see Adam Sandler. Is there many people funnier than Adam Sandler, I ask you? So make sure to take advantage of that. Again, going up until 5 o'clock, they'll have the crew on the TVs as well. Come on here, watch the game while we're watching the game. And I'm sure, as Charlie will attest to, I'll be distracted throughout the game, reacting to what I'm seeing on TV as Chad Patrick takes to the mound for the crew today. So it should be fun there. Coming up at 3:20 is Mike Wahle, former Packers offensive lineman. He'll join us. Lots to talk about with him, right? Being a former offensive lineman, want to get his take on what he's made of the Packers offensive line, what he's made of, a guy like Jordan Morgan, what he's made of Becton, the Escalade over there at right tackle. I'm not Becton. Did I call him Becton just now, like Belton. The Eagle? Yeah, Belton. I called him the Philadelphia Eagle. I wish he was. So Belton over there at right tackle, get his thoughts on him. And get his thoughts on what the rest of his offensive line looks like, including Elton Jenkins, who struggled mightily this last game. So that's coming up at 3:20. Charlie's Sound of the Day. Play back some clips from the Matt LaFleur presser earlier today in a Green Gold Update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And then we dive into Barry Alvarez comments from during the season last year to the latest comments from Barry Alvarez just a couple nights ago. We are going to do it yesterday, just didn't make the rundown, so we'll do it today coming up at about 4:20. So it is a jam-packed 2-hour show out here at Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. We have a Jordan Love topic. We'll get to the Jordan Love topic. But before we get to the Jordan Love topic, I bring in my producer extraordinaire, Charlie Usen, because I need to get his thoughts on what we were just talking about with Tommy Wirtz there during the leadoff show.
Yeah, you're insane.
So Tommy Wirtz is talking this nonsense about, trying to extend Bryce Terang. Oh, we should extend Sal Frelick, this and that and every other thing. First of all, Sal Frelick hasn't even gone to arbitration. Sal Frelick doesn't even start his arbitration time till 2027. There is zero chance I'm talking extension with Sal Frelick, none whatsoever. Bryce Terang has all 4 years of arbitration that doesn't begin until 26 after this season. There is zero chance I'm talking extension with Bryce Terang as well. You want to talk extension with Bryce Terang? Talk to me in 2028 or before the 29 season for extending Bryce Terang. There is no reason to pay this dude more money than what he is worth at this point because, again, it's Milwaukee. So you have to pick and choose where you're going to give long-term money to versus guys that right now he's at his peak. Churio had no base to build on. None. Didn't have a bat in Major League Baseball. The Brewers had all the leverage, right? Bryce Terang? Come on, man. I mean, dude won platinum last year, platinum glove. He's having an all-star caliber year this year offensively. More power than we've seen from Bryce Terang on top of it. Still really good defensively. And now you want to go, hey, you want to have an extension? All leverage goes into the court of the agent and Bryce Terang. Again, This is not the LA Dodgers. So if from a Milwaukee Brewers standpoint, it makes zero fiscal sense to go talk extension with either one of those two guys at this point, Charlie.
But I also don't feel like it doesn't. I don't know. A guy like Bryce Turang, who's having the season he's having, who's been so important to this Milwaukee Brewers lineup, I feel like you should be able to reward that as a franchise and honestly extend him while he's going to be at his cheapest. If he continues, if he's going to be on this rise for a while now and you extend him after the 4 years of arbitration, he keeps getting better year after year. In 4 years, that long-term contract is going to be a lot more expensive than any contract you were to give him right now.
Yeah, so 4 years of arbitration, then he's a free agent, right? So you essentially, as you look at it right now, you've got this offseason, then you've got the 26 offseason, then the striker lockout. Then whatever the CBA changes or whatever it looks like, we'll see. Because, again, think about it from this perspective. What if they put a salary cap in? What if they hold out for an entire year and they don't play at all in 27 and they wait to get it to 28? Owners aren't moving and eventually the players finally fold and they get a salary cap on this thing. Then what? Because then everything changes landscape-wise across Major League Baseball. And they couldn't institute it right away. They would have to say, okay, in 29 or in 30 is when the salary cap is going to start. Because you can't just do a cold start like that when nobody had any idea based on the salaries that everybody has. So you'd have to give like a 3-year warning ahead of this. Well, then that changes about how much value everybody truly is going to have once you put that all together with a roster. Again, another reason why you don't do this. Now, Made, on the other hand, Jesus Made, we talked about him. He's probably going to start at AA next year. He's going to end up in AAA next year. And then who knows? Maybe he gets a cup of coffee in September with the Milwaukee Brewers. And Tommy asked me that. What, do you extend him now? I wouldn't. Like, let's see what he looks like in AA and then going into AAA. And then there's going to be a strike or a holdout. And when that's done, then you can go have that conversation with him if you want, once you see what comes out of the new CBA. I just don't feel like there's any reason to unnecessarily extend anybody right now, knowing what is lingering after next season.
Do you think that is a certain thing that there's going to be some kind of lockout from the MLB players?
Well, the
situation.
I think it's going to be the owners locking them out.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm from everything I've heard, it seems like a certainty that it's probably going to happen, and we may not have baseball in 27 of some sort. And again, who knows? I mean, you have a whole nother year to work on this and try and figure this out one way or the other, right? That's a lot of time to make progress, to avoid that situation. Maybe you have the nuts and bolts of it in place. You just got to work out the smaller details. Maybe you miss a little spring training, but you're ready to go by opening day. That's the hope. But depending on who's dug in on what issues and who's not willing to budge, and if the fight is the salary cap, by all indications, the players are absolutely refusing to have that conversation at this point. And if they're going to dig in and go, nope, I'm not changing my mind, we're not coming back as owners until we get one, you may lose a whole season, lose another World Series, that whole thing. But as we've talked about before, the only way they're going to cave is if the middle to lower class in Major League Baseball, making the veteran minimum all the way up till middle ranks, if they start running out of money and they don't have any cash and they need money and they don't want to go work a regular job, they're going to overthrow the superstars who don't care if they don't play for 10 years. And they're going to overthrow those guys and say, we're good, we're coming back, let's go. That's what the owners would have to hold out for. How long that takes, I have no idea, but that would have to be the hope of an owner if that's what they're going to try and do.
Do you think with kind of the growth of some of these other like basketball leagues, not just in America, but in other countries,
right?
Or maybe baseball leagues in other countries
Japan.
Right now, do you think that any of those leagues would take advantage of this kind of holdout from the MLB and say, hey, you know what? We're willing to let you guys come over here and play without any kind of contract restrictions and kind of force the hand of the MLB to say, okay, never mind, we'll come back. We'll do what you guys want, because there is such a bigger market for professional sports now across the globe.
I don't know the answer to that, and I would have to ask a Matt Arnold or somebody. I don't know what the contract looks like for, say, Shohei Ohtani. He's under MLB control for so many years. Can he decide next year, I'm not going to play here anymore, I'm going to go play in Japan, they offer me more money, and leave? Or is he under control of that Major League Baseball team and cannot play in Japan?
But I also think
that's what it is, where you're under control regardless until your contract, you're a free agent, sign wherever you want. But if you're under contract with a Major League team, I don't believe you're allowed to go play in Japan.
But if it's the owners that are holding out and the
Doesn't
owners that
matter.
are breaking the contract in that situation, it wouldn't change the situation here.
Unless these players are super smart and have it written into their contracts where they have an out where they go play in Japan if there's a work stoppage. Maybe some of them do. I doubt it. But maybe some of them have it into their contract. But it literally would have to be into their contract. Otherwise, no, they're all going to be stuck here. And if I'm an owner, why would I put that into the contract? I lose all leverage if I put that in the contract. And half these guys go, cool, we're going to Japan. We're going to go play in Japan. The Team USA All-Stars are going to go make, $5-10 million each to go play in Japan. I don't think that would be in the contract, but again, I don't know.
I can see that. I'm just curious, I guess, for a guy like Bryce Terang, who is a younger player, who is younger in his MLB career.
Well, again, he's making less than, based on this, I'm looking at Spot Track, he's making $777,000 this year. He's not even making $1 million this year.
So, I guess my question is, maybe a guy like Shohei Ohtani has it in his contract where it'd be like, no, you can't go play in Japan. But would they bother even putting that type of language in a contract of a Bryce Terang or of a Joey Ortiz in that situation?
I think it's a standard. I think it's a standard in all Major League Baseball contracts. I don't think it's different for one person to the next unless it's negotiated in. Sal Frelick making the same amount of money as Bryce Terang, $771,800. The crazy part is Terang is going to arbitration 1 next year, and Frelick is still in his pre-arbitration years. He doesn't start arbitration until 2027 to Sal Frelick, and they're both making the same amount of money. And Frelick is essentially full season behind him as far as when he gets to free agency versus when Bryce Terang gets to free agency at the same point. Charlie using over there, see Sparky Fifer here. Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come on, hang out with us. Your chance to win Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend tour tickets. October 5th at Fiserv Forum. I got to do is scan the QR code between now and 5 o'clock to take advantage of that. And again, great food, drink specials. Now, this sounds very basic, and I understand. My favorite thing to eat at Moe's Irish Pub that I just obsess over, grilled cheese and tomato soup. I don't know what it is about the tomato soup at Moe's Irish Pub, but I love the tomato soup at Moe's Irish Pub. Love the grilled cheese at Moe's Irish Pub, not the avocado. No avocado on my grilled cheese, but the rest of it is unbelievable. It's so good. And then I dunk the grilled cheese into the tomato soup when you're eating the grilled cheese. Do you dunk the grilled cheese?
Of course,
because I'll dunk grilled cheese into ketchup, but I'll also dunk it into tomato soup.
Not into ketchup. No, that's
the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. Tomato
yes,
soup.
It is. It's both tomato based. What do you mean?
No, I guess the ingredients are semi the same, but tomato soup's warm. It's creamy. It's not cold and harsh like ketchup.
Oh, it's so good though. Oh, I do it all day long. Yeah.
Wrong.
Also so good. The Potawatomi Sportsbook, man. Make sure you want to check that out as well. They have shuttles to and from every Brewers home game throughout the season, 1 hour before the game to 1 hour after the game. And to get on that shuttle, you have to make a same-day game wager or make a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen as well. 48 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails, great food, dessert, all-day brunch, all right there for you. Maybe do a little pregame at the Sportsbook before you get on the shuttle. And then once you're on the shuttle, you get to come back on the shuttle as well up to 1 hour after the game. Park at their parking garage. It's free. It costs you nothing. Take advantage of it today. Go to potawatomi.com/sportsbook. It is the way to go for certain. Coming up next, Mike Wahle, former Packers offensive lineman. You can follow him on Twitter at MikeWall68. We'll get his thoughts on this Packers train wreck of an offensive line straight ahead here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's out here at Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Your chance to win Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend tour tickets coming to Fifer Forum coming up on October 5th. All I got to do is scan the QR code out here at Moe's Irish Pub. You'll be all set. Things coming up here at Moe's Irish Pub. Tango and Flago comes up this Friday night starting at 10 o'clock on Friday night. Plus, don't forget, holiday party season is here. You can book your company's holiday party, family gathering, or holiday outing with friends and coworkers right here at Moe's Irish Pub. Space available for groups of 10 to 1,000. Goodness gracious. Customizable bar packages as well, fall catering menu and buffet options too. All you have to do to book that is contact events at moesirishpub.com. Events at moesirishpub.com. Highly recommend joining us now. Another guy I highly recommend listening to. It is our guy, Mike Wahle. Follow him on Twitter at MikeWall68. He joins us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Former Packer offensive lineman Mike Wahle. How are we doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great, Sparky. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. When we talk about offensive line and potentially a train wreck of an offensive line, I have nobody else I trust more than I trust you when it comes to talking about what in the world is going on after that Cleveland game. First, let's start with former first-round pick Jordan Morgan. They continue to move him around. Now, Matt LaFleur earlier this week said maybe they have to rethink that, but we saw Jordan Morgan at right tackle. Talking to Packer beat writers, they're like, he wasn't there in training camp at any point that they remember. So they put him at right tackle. Then they changed their mind after Banks goes out there in the first half at left guard, and then they moved Morgan to left guard as well. Your thoughts on what they've been doing with Jordan Morgan and what you've seen from Jordan Morgan?
Well, let's start with what we've seen. You know, the hard part is obviously that he's a first-round draft pick. He gets drafted pretty high. So the expectation is he comes in and hard and helps out like now. Like the first, on day one, he's going to be a productive member of the offense. And for a lot of Goody's picks over the last couple of years, that isn't necessarily the truth. So, the expectations versus reality just don't really match up maybe for Jordan, for Lucas Van Ness, for a couple of these guys. But Jordan Morgan's going to be a good football player in this league. I think the issue right now, we like to cross-train players, and they've had success in the past cross-training players. And quite frankly, cross-training young guys, unless you're, hands down one of the better offensive left tackles in the game, is a very productive way, I think, to go about building your offensive line. But right now you can see that there's just there's a lot of things going into his head, and when that's happening, and you don't have a very good, let's just say, mastery of the technical processes of playing, let's say, left guard or right tackle, and all of a sudden you turn around and Myles Garrett's lined up against you, everything kind of goes out the window. You start playing survival mode football, and things start going south real fast. And, what happens not only with Jordan, but with Coach LaFleur is like your play sheet becomes real blurry when Zach Tom goes out and the next guy goes in and gets beat immediately. And I think that's what is kind of a microcosm of this, this issue.
My thing is Myles Garrett, whoever it is, that doesn't matter much to me. My producer, Charlie Usen, played college football. Obviously never played pro or anything like that. And, he's a left tackle, and he talks about all the time about how the footwork is completely different. Like, if you don't get a lot of reps at right tackle, now you're going over to right tackle and having to learn that on the fly. Then we're moving from right tackle in game back over to left guard. There's a lot going on there, probably from a mental and physical standpoint as well. And then, like you said, you're doing it in the game against Myles Garrett.
That's why I lost you there. One more second.
That's okay. My point was with Jordan Morgan to say, okay, I'm comfortable at left tackle, and then you don't practice at right tackle, so you go out there and you have to figure that out in game on the fly. Then they move you in game back to the left side. It wasn't like you went right tackle to right guard. They moved him all the way back over to the other side, which again, the footwork changes, right, Mike? So that puts him even more of an impossible situation.
Yeah, it's not like you're playing you're a baseball pitcher and you got to throw with the other hand, or you're a soccer player, you got to play with the other foot. But like the timing and everything isn't the same. And the problem is that people don't understand is that it takes literally thousands of reps on your dominant side to get what we would just call automatic mastery of that technique. And so if you haven't spent, literally thousands, that's why you see, Sparky, when you see guys doing short sets, deep sets, angle sets, wide sets, and they get beat all the time. It's like, well, because they're not very good at them. They haven't spent thousands of reps doing that. And so if you've been trying to play left tackle or left guard, and all of a sudden you got to go over and play right tackle, put your other hand on the ground, change your set, and then you got to move halfway during the game over to another position where everything is completely backwards and in kind of a different range profile from the defensive tackle to the defensive end. Like, that stuff is incredibly difficult, particularly for a young player who, quite frankly, doesn't have his technique down at any one position yet anyways. So it's just you're heaping a lot on the guy. Obviously, he's a great athlete. Obviously, he's a competitor, but you're asking a lot. And we kind of saw it at the end there. Like, maybe you just next time put Belton in. He's a huge body. He's a good athlete. At the very least, he's going to put up a different kind of fight at 330 than Jordan is at 310.
Talk about Belton a little bit, Mike Wahle, as far as what you've seen from him so far this year as a rookie, second-round pick, being put out there to play probably more than they wanted to put him out there to play early on in the season.
Yeah, I like him. It's just like the rest of these guys. There's a project process or phase of this that he's kind of skipping through right now. But you like him. You like the way he moves. I think he's going to be a tackle over a guard just because of the way he bends and his general size. He looks very comfortable coming out of a 2-point stance on either side of the football. I like a lot of the stuff. It's just, again, this is a bad litmus test. Going into Cleveland, playing against one of the better defenses in the league, playing against the best defensive player in football. It's just a lot to ask. And as we kind of go through this process with this 8-man rotation we have on the offensive line, I think they're going to figure out that he's probably going to be the top swing guy at the tackle position, and maybe Jordan stays inside and tries to battle it out there for a spot either as the backup guard or center, wherever they decide to do.
Tom, former Packer offensive lineman Mike Wahle. Follow him on Twitter at MikeWahle68. He joins us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. What about Elgton Jenkins, making that move over to center? The man's played every position on the offensive line, I'm pretty sure, at this point. The latest being moved from guard to center. How has he done to this point, and what is he still trying to figure out here going forward?
Well, listen, the reason that Elgton Jenkins has been so valuable for this team overall is because he's been able in a pinch to play multiple positions and play them well. The drop-off isn't very extreme from him, from what I think is his best position, a left guard to tackle or center. But when you look at his from a center position, the footwork is different because a lot of stuff's coming off that midlife stance with the ball between your legs, obviously. We talked about it on the show after the second snap when they give up the sack. Their whole procedure for shotgun is, for lack of a better term, asinine. I don't understand how this is still an issue. But talking about his play overall, Sparky, the hard part there is you have a guy who's a Pro Bowl left guard, and you move him to center and replace him with somebody who's not, in my opinion, is not quite as good of a guard. When you look at the defensive tackles in this league and who really gives you problems, it's the 3 techniques. And so, even if he comes out and becomes an all-pro and becomes on the same level of Creed Humphrey or Tyler Lindenbaum over in Baltimore, I still don't know if that makes sense to replace that position with a lesser player when you have a guy that's just been a stalwart in Elgton Jenkins. So, I never liked the move. I don't really like it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's playing poorly, but I don't think his footwork and pad level suits at center maybe necessarily as well as it suited a guard.
Mike, what about this deal where Rasheed Walker gets beat quickly on a move by Myles Garrett? Garrett takes off running, and this thing's gone viral where he's yelling, "Run, Jordan, run!" Yeah. How much of the offensive linemen yelling at their quarterback, telling them that pretty much they just got beat and get your butt going, actually happens? Because I don't know, man. They're making a big deal about it. Richard Sherman was really blowing it up, acting like he's never seen anything like it before in the time he played in the league. Is it that uncommon?
No.
That's what I thought. Okay.
No. Listen, let me tell you this. We've all said it. And I'll tell you, the Vinny Testaverde was 41 years old, which I know doesn't seem old now, but it was old back then when he was playing for the Panthers one year. And I remember I got beat early, and it was look out, give him a lookout block kind of deal. And we got back to the huddle because he just let it rip. And he's like, look, man, it's cool if you lose early. Just don't lose late because I can't get rid of the football. So if you lose early, just yell for it, and the ball's gone. No problem.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. That's obviously good advice. That thing went viral. I'm like, I don't feel like it's that uncommon. I know they're making a big deal of it, like it's Forrest Gump or something, but it just didn't seem that uncommon. The other question I have is the play of Rasheed Walker at this point, because that's another guy. If they decide, okay, Jordan Morgan, you're not going to play anywhere but left tackle, I then get concerned of them trying to force Jordan Morgan onto the field and start rotating him with Rasheed Walker at left tackle. If Walker is struggling at any point, obviously, just like everybody else in the offensive line, wasn't the best against Cleveland. What have you made of his play through 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think he's an extremely solid tackle in this league. I think he's going to command a big contract next year. Look, when you look at, again, let's just go back to the snap count problem or how we do our silent count. You've got your left tackle looking all the way in at the ball. And, Sparky, if you just sit up in your chair right now and you look to your right and get in kind of this like little, linear racehorse stance, and then snap your head to the left and kick back as fast as you can. Like bad things start happening when there's a fast dude on the other side of you. This kind of stuff is not an anomaly because they might not fix the snap count issues. But I think generally when you start looking at like the play we just referenced or a couple other plays in the game, those plays are more a consequence of how we're dealing with that snap count than anything else. I think generally these guys are playing well. Can they play much better in the run game? Absolutely. Is that part of that is just the rotations and that we're not figuring out exactly what we're good at yet? I think that's a big part of the problem.
Talking with Mike Wahle, former Packers offensive lineman, and follow him on Twitter at MikeWahle68. I want to get your thoughts on the defensive side of the ball for this Packers team. But even though they lost that game, defense I thought played pretty well. You get Micah Parsons now returning to Dallas coming up on Sunday night. Talk from the offensive line standpoint, what it's like dealing with a guy like Micah Parsons when you still have Cooper out there, you still have Rashawn Gary out there, you still have Quay Walker blitzing from time to time, and everything else that defense can now present against an opposing offense.
Well, having a weapon like that where you can line up kind of really anywhere on the field and really, let's bunch. Micah Parsons is a special pass rusher because of his speed and his leverage. He's just he out athletes everybody else. He better humans everybody else. But let's put him in the same bucket as Quay and Cooper in the sense that those are guys that can literally line up all over the board and present these kind of number issues for an offensive line as far as their count. They present leverage issues as far as speed against centers and guards when they run pick stunts. And then, of course, with a guy like Micah Parsons, you can line him up against a tackle, and he's just as quick to beat one of those good elite offensive tackles like he has in past weeks already. Than he's going to beat than anybody else. So I really like those three guys and what they kind of add to the defense as far as the pass rush. Obviously, Rashawn Gary is a great player, but he's also been kind of a beneficiary of some of that. You saw last week, like he decided not to even block him and give him a couple free ones. And the guys inside have to be given a lot of credit. We got rid of our two starting defensive tackles last year, TJ Slayton and Kenny Clark. And the young guys are really stepping up, and they're creating pressure in the pocket, and they're doing a great job against the run game. And I just love the overall intensity of the box players, really the entire team, but the overall intensity of the box players and the way they're running the football is even better than it was last year. And this is one of the better football teams on defense that we've seen in a long time here in Green Bay. It's exciting to watch.
I have one more for you. Peyton Manning said on Monday Night Football, we played it yesterday on the show, that his rule changes that he would have if he was commissioner of the NFL or whatever. One of them was he would ban defensive linemen from jumping moving forward. I would assume from your perspective, you probably be all aboard that train.
What was it? One more time.
He wants to ban defensive linemen from being able to jump. So they have to stay, both feet have to stay on the ground. They can no longer jump to block passes or anything of the sort.
I guess so. This is pretend stuff. Yeah. I guess I want to get rid of hot dogs. I mean, yeah. I suppose that would be a fantastic idea. But here's the deal with the difference between Peyton Manning and an offensive lineman is if he jumps, that's really Peyton Manning like getting a incomplete pass or whatever. If he jumps for me, that means he's not pass rushing anymore. So it doesn't bother me that much. I'll just take it. I'll punch him one time in the stomach and see what happens.
I love it. That's good stuff. Mike Wahle, former Packers offensive lineman. Follow him on Twitter at MikeWahle68. Tell everybody about the podcast you got going on.
Yeah, we did the Block Party podcast. We did it twice this week. One's coming out tomorrow, and we do a preview and then a post-game review. Check out the Browns one on our Process to Perform channel. Hey, Sparky, thanks for having me on, man. It was fun.
I always love having Mike Wahle on. Mike, thanks you so much. I appreciate it. There is Mike Wahle, Fan Guest Hotline on the Powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. And Jackson Churio just robbed somebody of a home run. I just looked up and saw the replay. Who did he rob of a home run there? Was that Machado?
I believe so, yeah. I wasn't paying attention either.
That's good. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. If he robbed Machado, that is amazing. I am very, very excited by that. I didn't see it happen when it happened. The Brewers are batting right now, so it had to have happened in the last half inning. But what a play by Churio to rob that home run. And everybody's like, oh, you can't. Tommy specifically, Tommy Words. Boy, I can't trade Blake Perkins. Man, stop. You've got Sal Freely can play in center field. Churio can play in center field.
Bogarts.
Not as fun. Still impressive play, but not as fun for me personally. As a Brewers fan, I'd rather rob somebody else. But either way, they're playing Dylan Cease today. Like, runs are not going to probably come that easy for this Brewers team. You've got Chad Patrick out there for the Brewers against San Diego. And again, if you're looking for somewhere to come watch the game, have some great food, looking for a dinner tonight and watch the second half or the late part of this game, come on out here. Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. They got their new fall drink menu out as well, which is brew sangria, brandy, maple old-fashioned. Are you an old-fashioned person, Charlie?
Sometimes it has to be a good old-fashioned. I know Moses got a good old-fashioned.
This is a Wisconsin-favored maple-infused old-fashioned garnished with oranges and cinnamon stick.
That does sound good.
That sounds good, yeah. Pumpkin spice white Russian. I love white Russians. Pumpkin twist on this beloved cocktail topped with whipped cream and cinnamon. And then the one that everybody loves, the apple hot cider hot toddy. A hot Tullamore dew and honey cider garnished with lemon and cinnamon stick. I love warm winter alcoholic beverages. I'm all about it.
I'm with you on that. Like a good, like Glühwein.
If you want to get me to come to your bar, just tantalize me with some warm winter, fall alcoholic beverages, and I am there. And I'm equal, right? I also like the boozy shakes and stuff like that too. I'm also a fan of that. I know some of y'all like your whiskey and just the glass, and you swirl it around and you look at it and you take a little sip and you swirl it around. That is not me, man. That is definitely not me at the end of the day. I'm not going to be that
Jake
guy.
Bauers just missed a home run by like an inch.
Yeah, Jake Bauers ends up with a double on that play here in the second with a couple of outs. Tommy's guy doing well. Take a quick timeout, come back on the other side. I have to get to Charlie's sounds of the day, top 3 sound clips for today. We'll do that coming up momentarily. Let me tell you about my good friends over there at Wendy's. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate, vanilla, frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions as well. It's the same creamy treat you've always loved. Now they flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, we've got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie, batter, and caramel, and the Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, added some pieces of toffee in it, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all-new Frosty flavors, a refresh on a classic. It's gotta be Wendy's. Coming up next, Charlie Sounds of the Day, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at Moe's Irish Pub. Come on out, take advantage, and have a chance to win tickets to see Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend, who are coming up October 5th at Fifer Forum. Welcome back. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come on out, hang out. Perfect time to book your holiday party with Moe's Irish Pub as well. For packages and pricing, they got full catering menu and buffet options. They got space for 10 to 1,000 people, customizable bar packages. All you got to do is email them. Events at moesirishpub.com. Events at moesirishpub.com. Coming up Friday night, Tango and Fuego will be performing starting at 10 o'clock on Friday night. While we're out here at Moe's Irish Pub, out here to 5 o'clock, watching the baseball game going on, still 0-0 in the second. You have a chance to win Adam Sandler tickets for the You're My Best Friend tour coming up on October 5th at Fifer Forum. Make sure to take advantage of that too. This baseball game here, Chad Patrick, they said during the leadoff show, needs to get innings, Charlie. Needs to get, 6 innings if possible to help this bullpen out and try to still keep them fresh.
I don't think he's getting 6 innings. He's at 26 pitches already in the bottom of the second with no outs.
Oh, that's fine. That's 13 pitches. He gets a double play here. 13 pitches an inning, double play here, and we're looking good.
Why are you optimistic now? You're never optimistic.
Some positivity. Sports Talk on the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. And we'll talk more about the Green Bay Packers coming up at 4 o'clock. As we do our green and gold update, we'll hear from Packers head coach Matt LaFleur as well. Time now for Charlie's Sounds of the Day.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Fan.
All right, top 3 sound clips of the day brought to you by my fine folks over there at Prize Picks. And I'm telling you, like I've been telling you, and I'll tell you again once we get into this segment, Prize Picks is a place to be, man. Use that promo code Sparky. And after you do that first $5 lineup, they'll give you $50 in funds. $50. That means you play $5 lineups going forward. You'll get 11 lineups for $5. Essentially is what it comes down to if you do the quick math. Download the app today. Use code Sparky to get $50 in lineups for after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Sparky, SPARKY, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks could be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. I'll give you more details on Prize Picks coming up. But first, let's get to the clips of the day.
All right, first up, we're going to head over to Mizzou football, where head coach Eli Drinkwitz was discussing Ahmad Hardy, their star running back, who's been phenomenal so far this season, not getting the Heisman buzz that most people think he deserves.
I haven't really seen much other than Mizzou people, and the national people are still all caught up on 10 quarterbacks. So when they start actually looking into who are the best players instead of just the quarterback stats, because right now, national writers, no offense to y'all, they just look at stats. They're not actually watching enough games to know. But, we got a lot of football left. I don't think anybody's won the Heisman in September. So once you get into October and November and there's sustained excellence, we'll figure out who the best player in college football is. Right now, it's like the polls. The polls and the whatever are just for clicks and podcasts. So
This is the thing. He's right. I don't disagree with him. But you also have to understand that this is by far a quarterback award, Charlie, regardless of what anybody says. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whoever the best quarterback is in college football. By the time all of these conference championship games are done and everything else, that's who's going to win this award, right?
Well, and why that's defendable in college football is because they have awards for every other position. There's a best running back in the country award. There's a best wide receiver in the country, and so on and so on. In the NFL, it's a little less defendable for the MVP award because you don't have that love for the other positions. At the same time, in college football, with a lot of these players that are playing position that are not quarterbacks, they are a lot more important to their team sometimes. I don't think Mizzou is nearly as good as they are without Hardy playing as well as he is. And I think that some of these college teams with guys that are still getting Heisman buzz are playing worse because their quarterbacks are playing worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I still hear Cade Klubnik and Arch Manning getting talked about in Heisman buzz, and both those guys have not looked like the players everybody expected. I think it's a little strange that he's at least not getting top 5 buzz, maybe not top 3 because he's not a quarterback, sure, but at least top 5 is deserved.
It'll be fun to see where this all ends up at the end of the year. Maybe we revisit at the end of the year. If Charlie or I remember having this conversation in September, doubtful. But if we do, we can revisit the conversation then. All right, clip 2.
Next up here, we're going to head over to the Badger Blitz podcast, where former Badgers cornerback Colin Wilder, he played with Paul Chryst towards the end of Paul Chryst's tenure there. He was discussing what Wisconsin's issue is and how Luke Fickell can turn it around.
I'll tell the story real briefly, but he had a staff member when they came in, and they came in and coached the bowl game, coached and ran staff meetings of staff members who weren't having a job at the end of the season, and that clearly rubbed people the wrong way. But there was a staff member that told another former staff member that, hey, we're not here to come go to Rose Bowls. We're here to win national championships. And this is not the American Athletic Conference. This is the Big Ten. This is an even better Big Ten than what it was before. So there needs to be a sense of humility from the staff. They need to take a long look in the mirror, especially Luke Fickell, on how you communicate with your players, how you have relationships, and how at this point you need your players to want to ride or die for you. And I don't think, in my opinion, that he has players that want to ride or die for him. And that is a huge key in order to dig yourself out of a hole like this. And if you don't start with that foundation that he probably did not start with necessarily, you're in a way deeper hole than you think to get out of this if you're Luke Fickell.
I think that's something that he does not know. I think that is something that is complete and pure speculation, and I don't put a lot of merit into it if we're being honest. Because, again, it's very hard to know who's willing to run through a wall for Luke Fickell and who's not at the end of the day. I think it's a lot of speculation, if nothing else. And, again, if you want to say, when I watched the Badgers against Alabama, they weren't playing hard. If you want to say when they were playing against Maryland, they were dogging it and they weren't playing hard, okay, maybe we can have that conversation. But I was on social media like everybody else during that last Badger game. I didn't see anybody saying they're dogging it and they're not playing hard. Saw a lot of people questioning how much talent they actually have on the roster, how bad the quarterback play is, and some of the other stuff. Sure, complaining about their quarterback always being hurt, right? Saw a lot of that. But I've not seen anybody against Alabama or against Maryland questioning their effort. And to me, that's what you're pretty much saying there if you're saying and questioning whether or not they're playing hard for Luke Fickell.
I think what Colin is really looking at here maybe isn't that factor where you can see it on the field. It's what you're not seeing and what you're not hearing. And I think especially in college football, especially with some of the better teams in the country, you constantly have players giving credit to their coaching staff and constantly going out there and defending their coaching staff and having their coaches defend the players. I don't feel like you're getting that same type of relationship with Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers right now. It doesn't feel like the players are going out there, and yes, they may be playing hard on the field, but it doesn't seem like they're going out there and defending everybody, saying that Luke Fickell should be fired, not saying anything about how they love the way Luke Fickell is running this program right now. You don't hear that. Yeah, they're not going to badmouth it, and they're not going to go out there and not play hard because there's a lot of money on the line for some of these guys in the future. So they have to go out there and play hard, but they're not saying things. And I think that's what's speaking really loud to some former players of the Badgers.
Well, the other thing is these guys all have the option to happen to a transfer portal and get paid more money somewhere else after this year, which a lot of these former Badger players did not have available when they played. So there's a big, big difference. And this is the same thing going on at every other university. Nobody's going to get all bent out of shape or anything like that because they know they can just leave at the end of the year and go somewhere else. So you don't have that same type of dedication necessarily from anybody. Because if Wisconsin doesn't want to pay me, I'll go somewhere else. I'll get the money there. And if I don't want to be here, regardless of how much money I'm making, I can just go. It doesn't cost me. I don't sit out of here, nothing. I can just go play somewhere else. All right, time for clip 3.
And last up here, we're going to head over to First Things First on Fox Sports 1, where one of your favorites, Danny Parkins, was on that show, breaking down his NFL power rankings and where he had the Green Bay Packers ranked after their Week 3 loss to the Cleveland Browns.
Number 9, Sorry you lose to the Browns. You drop all the way to number 9 with the Green Bay Packers. And listen, their greatness, like their best, is really good. But the bad is a big yikes. And Jordan Love, I struggle trusting him when he has at least one turnover in 13 of their 17 losses since 2023, including the playoffs. He has 24 touchdowns and 23 turnovers in their losses since 2023. Like, when he turns the ball over, they tend to lose.
Catastrophic.
And obviously those two things are correlated for every team, but he just throws a lot of interceptable passes, too many for me to fully trust him.
He had him right in front of your other favorite team, the Indianapolis Colts, at number 10.
Yeah, I'm sure he hasn't watched the Colts game all year, so I don't really care what he thinks about the Colts. I guarantee you he watched the Packers game, though, because he's rooting for them to lose every single week. So from that perspective, I don't know. I don't take a lot of what he says for anything that he says concerning the Packers, because it's all just fanboy stuff. But having said that, yeah, I go and look at other teams, I guess. What are the Bills' record when Josh Allen throws picks? That dude throws a lot of picks throughout the course of the year. Patrick Mahomes, he throws quite a few picks throughout the course of the year. Go see what his record is throughout the course of the year. A lot of these guys that are the top quarterbacks, it's not like the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL all have Aaron Rodgers interception totals, right? The rest of the league isn't throwing 5 to 8 interceptions, and that's it at the end of the year. Most of these guys throw a lot of interceptions. Josh Allen threw a lot of interceptions early in his career, and then he finally apparently maybe figured it out last year, but that's what it's been, and that's what it's going to continue to be going forward. And I don't know. I don't get too concerned about it. I was having this conversation earlier today with my dad, freaking out over Jordan Love. I was like, he's fine. I'm not even going to worry about it. Which also is fine is Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Sparky to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Don't forget, Prize Picks simple. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. And they got the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. You know, every game counts, Packer fans, so don't miss a moment of the action this season on Prize Picks. Make your picks on your favorite Green Bay Stars and ride with the pack all season long. Download the app today and use code Sparky. Do we need a timeout here, Charlie? Because I do not have the clock in front of you, buddy.
Yes, right now.
Let's take a quick timeout. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Moe's Irish Pub in Tosa. Come hang out, watch the game, your chance to win Adam Sandler tickets as well. Coming up next, Green and Gold Update. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur straight ahead.